Today we're going to talk about why it is so fucking easy to make a shit ton of money online, but for whatever reason, there's a lot of you that still stay stuck, not making any of it. And the people that do know how to make a lot of it end up making it all, while you just sit there and don't know really, or you do not know what's going wrong. So here's the thing, you've probably watched a lot of these videos already, and I do not want this to be some sort of mental masturbation, so I want to go a little bit more in depth, as well as actually giving you more practical advice that you can go and apply after watching this video. However, you have to watch the video in its entirety because I will break things down step by step and give you those practical steps towards the end of the video, but they will not make sense if you just skip around. So please watch the entire video and you will actually see some results off of it as long as you put everything I teach you into action. With that being said, I do want to start off by just giving you a little bit of a story so you kind of know how to dive deep into this. So what I mean by it is very easy to make a shit ton of money is just simply as it is. It is very easy, but you do need to know how to make it. If you do not know how to, then you're probably in a bit of a harder situation. So that's what I'm here to teach you. If you guys do not know who I am, my name is Marco. I do run, or we basically install AI systems into local businesses without really knowing anything about AI. So it's a very easy and friendly business model for a lot of people. Not saying this will make sense, by the way. And the reason why I say that is because I have a couple people that I coach, and there's a specific person that I coached within this specific business model that made me fucking make this entire video, all right? So the thing is, when I was coaching this guy, I kind of told him, well, you need to do X, Y, and Z. And then he's like, oh, but that's why do I need to do that? That's so hard. And it's like, dude, it's not hard. You just have to pick up the phone and start calling people. And the dude was like, yeah, but I don't know if I want to do that or this. And then just being super, not lazy, but just like being so difficult about everything. And that's when I realized that this is the exact reason why nobody's making money online. And the sole reason as to why that is the case is usually because they're just not willing to do what the people that are making money, they're not willing to do what others are willing to. Just to keep things simple. Now I will go a little bit more in depth into this, so don't click off the video just yet because you feel like it's just some metaphor or whatever. I do say this because I genuinely mean it. There is so many people out there. Your competition is genuinely so low because nobody out there is willing to do what it takes to actually make the money that they want. Everybody's talking about, I want to make 10K a month, I want to do this, I want to do that, yet nobody's willing to actually back those words up with real work that is needed. Everybody thinks that somebody's just going to hand you money. No, nobody's going to hand you money for no fucking reason. You have to put in the right amount of work and bring the right amount of value for somebody to actually pay you, okay? This can be done in a bunch of different ways. If you guys don't know my story, I've literally made a shit ton of money in a completely different business model than what I do now. And then I lost all that money, started doing sales, quit all of that, didn't want to work for somebody else, started my own thing, and again made a bunch of money. So I've been through a roller coaster of ups and downs and made it all back purely because I do know how to, while most people don't. So here's the thing. When I say most people aren't willing to do what is necessary, what ends to happen is that everybody's wishing for these crazy results and these crazy amounts of money. But when it actually comes to doing the work, everybody's just trying to look for shortcuts and ways around it instead of actually just doing it. And that's when you realize that the reason why most of these people doing hard labor work and people that are actually like going out there to do something are the ones that usually end up with a lot of money, even though it seems like it's a little bit not what I want to do, is because they're genuinely putting in practical work while you're probably just at the computer right here thinking that you're doing work, yet you're not really doing anything practical or productive. And that's the whole trap, because a lot of you are spending a bunch of time on the computer working on your business, but in reality, you're just sitting there making a logo for 2 hours, chatting with Claude about this, chatting with ChatGPT, making a website, doing this, doing that. But none of those tasks are income producing activities. They're just mindless fake productivity, which keeps you stuck. None of that is really tangible things that are going to move you towards the income. The things that are going to move you towards the income is based upon what value that it actually brings. If you're working on a logo for 2 hours, thinking that you're working on your business, think about how much that logo is actually bringing in forms of revenue. Probably nothing, because the logo doesn't really matter. That is obviously just an example to kind of make my point, but you guys get the idea. There is no point in spending so much time on BS tasks that won't get you anywhere. What you have to do is focus on the tasks that will actually get you towards your goal. So now you're probably thinking, okay, what are those tasks? Well, those tasks are more times than not tasks with involving customers, which means when we run an AI agency, in the beginning stages, I have a couple guys that I coach, for instance, the guy that I talked about, and he does not want to spend money on ads, just to kind of keep things simple. He doesn't want to spend money on ads. So what he has to do is that, dude, he has to reach out to business owners. There's no way around that, because that is what is going to actually get his product in their hands, which inevitably is going to get him the money. So what does he decide to do? He decides to complain. He decides to go and fix a funnel. He decides to go and fix an onboarding script. He decides to fix the calendar for the onboarding. All of these things that do not matter a single thing, because he doesn't even have a client yet. So that doing that is not going to get him closer to the money. I had this other guy as well who kept asking me, when are we going to focus on fulfillment? When are we going to work for how we're going to fulfill for the client? All of these things. And I'm telling him, dude, stop fucking thinking about fulfillment when you have nobody to fulfill for. You haven't generated a single dollar yet. There is nothing to fulfill. Focus on fulfillment when you have something to fulfill. It is mind-blowing to me how many people are doing all of these things that do not matter, and then they complain about not making any money. So what I told them to do instead is, you don't want to spend money on ads? Fine, then you got to reach out. Start cold calling. 100, 150, 200 dials every single day, no excuses. No, I don't want to do that, dude. Well, okay, fine. You don't have to, but you won't make the money that you want either. It's as simple as that. If you're not willing to do it, you're not going to make the money. There's somebody else out there who's way dumber than you, way worse than you, doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, does not have an onboarding script, does not have an onboarding funnel, none of that, doesn't even have a calendar. Yet he is willing to do a $200 a day on the phone, and he's going to get a client before you, and he's going to make more money than you just because he was willing to do what you weren't willing to do. Simple as that, dude. It pisses me off. It genuinely makes me mad that it is so simple that you can, in today's day and age, you can fucking go on the computer, chat with ChatGPT for 5 minutes, have chat build you out an offer, pick up your phone, start dialing businesses, and within the first 48 to 36 hours you can have a client on board, but you're just not willing to do that. You can make anywhere from like $100 to $150 $100 to $500 in like the next 48 hours if you just fucking picked up your phone and did the work that most people aren't willing to do. It is that fucking simple. I made a video on this as well, how I made $10,000 in 48 hours. It's my best performing video because I literally broke down everything from A to Z, yet nobody was willing to do the same shit. And then they just half-ass it and say it doesn't work. Well, of course it doesn't work because you're not willing to actually put the amount of effort and work in that is required. What are you expecting? I know I'm a little bit harsh and I'm saying this out of love because it is genuinely easy if you're just willing to do it. It is not necessarily easy to sit there for 2 hours and call people until somebody tells you yes. But it is so simple to do because all you have to do is just type in a number and have a conversation with somebody for 2 minutes and then hopefully get a close at the end of it. It is that simple. I've done it myself. I've done all the trench work. I know exactly how hard it can be, how tough it can be, how mentally taxing and exhausting it can be. I know all this because I've been through it. But still, if you say you want all this money, but you're not willing to actually put in the work necessary to get there, then you just do not want it bad enough. And that is as simple as that. And it's crazy to me that that's most of the population. Because if you really knew how simple this shit was, and as long as you actually had a little bit more energy, instead of fucking jerking off, you picked your phone up and called somebody for 2 hours to try to get them to close, then you would see tremendously better results so much faster than if you just sit on your ass and do nothing and then complain about not having the money that you want. Or even worse, acting like you're doing something on the computer, yet you're not doing shit. You're probably not doing shit. And you're just acting like you do. I'm sorry for getting all mad and pissed off, but it almost hurts me because I coach people like this all the time. And it's mentally exhausting for me to be like, dude, you're talking about all these goals and all these aspirations and everything that you want, and then when it actually comes to doing it, then you don't really even want it. And if that's the case, that's fine. You're rather better off just working a 9 to 5 and getting a normal paycheck and doing all the safe things. That is fine too. Somebody has to do that. But don't be out here acting like you want XYZ, and then as soon as it actually comes to doing so, then all of a sudden you just back yourself out of it. That's most people. So do you want to be that person or do you not want to be that person? If not, then what you have to do practically is you have to start doing the tasks that are going to get you closer towards your goals. And those tasks are usually the ones that scare you. They're usually the ones that you keep avoiding and that you're overcomplicating in your head. Let's just say, for instance, for me, for a long time, this was posting content because I had a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of, experience in the space, yet I never actually posted about it. I wish I started posting ages ago, but I didn't because I was just prolonging it and I didn't want to put my face out there as much within this space because I did different things. I had a YouTube channel with like a completely different niche when I was making music that had like 15,000 subscribers. I knew how to do this. I just was too scared to start posting in a different niche. I wish I did it sooner because it has already given me clients, it has already given me value, it has already given me so much. And I barely even I barely have 100 subscribers when recording this. So it's like, the things that are going to give you most of the results are usually behind the things that you're avoiding. So the practical step now is to look at what you're avoiding and start doing those tasks. Seriously. That is what is going to move you closer towards your goals. And sometimes you just have to drop the ego, swallow that, and fucking do the things that nobody else wants to do. If you have to cold call for 2 hours every single day, then that's what you gotta do. Sorry to say, but that's the reality of the situation. How bad do you want it? Go and do it. Hope that helps. Catch you guys next time. Take care.